Ooh, that looks tasty.
Folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another Kickstarter preview, and today we're talking about Cities of Venus from Tin Robot Games. Now, what this game is this is a Euro-style game in which you are representing the governor of a floating city on Venus. And what's been going on is you're kind of sort of self-sufficient, but not really. What happens is you get regular kind of airdrops from Earth, and you rely on those resources to kind of keep you going. And something has happened, and the airdrops from Earth are going to be stopping, and each player is trying to make sure that their Cloud City is kind of the best prepared to take on whatever it is after that, just in case there's no more Earth or whatever's going on. And to do that, you're going to be drafting cards and upgrading your personal tableau here. And I'll show you this tableau in just a minute, but first I'll kind of go over the way the turn works. And what you'll see here are you have various minerals that you can mine, and the different colors just represent different denominations. And all of your resources are these VNaughts, these Venus astronauts, and they represent everything. You'll be spending and using them, as I said, for absolutely everything in the game, and I'll explain that in just a bit. And before I go any further, please make sure you turn your Klingon subtitles, just in case there's any mistakes in the rules overview. And additionally, I do need to point out that everything that you see here is still in the prototype phase, however nice it may be. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played, just want to jump into my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played. The first thing that's going to happen is every round, you will flop out the airdrop cards. You're going to put out one more than player count. In this case, I'm set up for a 2-player game, so there are 3 out. Then you will resolve any of the events that are there. And that's denoted by this little triangle right here. And early in the game, you only do one of those, no matter how many come out, but later in the game, you do as many as come out. And so what will happen is you will flip out one of these event cards and do whatever it says. In this case, something good happens. More people wake up from cryo sleep, I guess is what that is, and everyone would gain 2 more VNaughts, which is, as I said, is the kind of currency in the game. However, sometimes they might be bad, like this one right here, where everyone's going to lose 2 VNaughts off of their city, and so on and so on. There's a whole bunch of different types of cards that you might get. Then after events, you're going to lower your shields. And what's going on there is apparently on Venus, and this is true, I guess, there's actually a lot of acid rain. And so in the shields department over here, you actually just remove one of your VNaughts. And I don't know if that's representing that someone's dying trying to fix stuff, or they're just exhausted because of all the work. I don't know, but you lose one of them. Now, while I'm here, you'll see there's all these different departments. And in the corner here, there are these different numbers, and that's representing how many VNaughts can be held in that department at this point in the game, and this may change as you go through. Then the next thing that you do is you grow your population and you deploy it. And the way that works is you look at how many VNaughts you have in the food area and how many VNaughts you have here, and whichever area you have fewer, that's how many new VNaughts you get. So in this case, I have 4 and 4, so I would get 4 new ones. Though let's say it was like that for some reason, I would only get 3 new VNaughts. And I'll take them and I will put them wherever it is that I want in my Cloud City, like so. Now the other thing that you can do is you can take up to 2 of them and put them into the IIS, the space station. And as soon as you get up to 8 in your space station, then you can innovate. And that means you can take one of these different abilities down here. It may be something instant, or it may be something that upgrades one of your spots. For example, if I were to take this one right here, it would upgrade my shields department. So I would take that, and I would slide it in, and now I get 1 victory point at the end of the game. I can only have 4 guys in here, but I also have this upgrade ability right here. And what this means here is now my shields are stable, and I will not lose someone every single turn, though other things can make me lose VNaughts that are in this area. Then I move into the city actions, and there's a couple things that I can do. If I have a previously picked up airdrop here in the holding bay, I'll be able to potentially build that, and I'll talk about how you get those in just a moment when we get to that part of the game. And I can send my miners down to the planet to attempt to mine. And it's a one-way trip, so you use them and you lose them. And it's very simple. You will simply roll your mining die, and whatever number you roll, that's how many you're going to get, like so. And now I have those 3 minerals right there. And as you can tell, you can slot cards in that will change a variety of things with the mining. It might give you rerolls, roll 2 dice, take the best one, etc., etc. Then we move into the collect your airdrop. And in player order, you're going to get to pick one of them. Now, either you can pay for it right away, in which case you're going to equip it or use it, or you can't pay for it, and then you're able to take one and put it in that holding bay like I mentioned, and then build it at a later date. Now, let's take a look at some of these right here. This one right here, I could take this, and it would cost me a single VNOT from the science section of my station. So right here, I could pay one of those, and you'll notice they cost more and more depending on where you are. This one here takes 2 and 2, so I would have to lose 2 from this section and 2 also from this section right here if I wanted to claim that one. And these are simple population boosters. So right here, this has a generic symbol, so I'd be able to put 6 VNOTs anywhere I wanted in my city. But if I took one like this right here, it's a little bit easier to get, but I can only put these 8 VNOTs in my food production area, and if my food production can't hold that many, then I lose whatever the leftover is. However, there's also other types that you might find, like this one right here. And what this one here is, this is an upgrade for the food production. It will give me a point at the end of the game, and now I can have more people in the food production area, and you can see what it costs over here, and some of them also will cost minerals as well as taking VNOTs from different areas. And you can see right here, when I said this one costs a science, I neglected to mention that it would also cost a single mineral down there. Until eventually, somewhere in the bottom of the deck, you will get the Earth card. And that's going to signify it is the last turn, and you'll finish up and then you'll go to scoring. And scoring is relatively simple. You're going to get points for different upgrades that you have that you've put into your city. You're going to get points for every 4 minerals you have left over. You're going to get points for whoever has the most people still in your city, and you're going to get points for whoever has the most minerals total, and you're going to lose points for unbuilt air canisters that you're holding on to. And that's pretty much how this game works. So, what do I like about this game? The first thing I like is I like 4-layer boards. I do think it is kind of fun. You're sliding new things in, the way it slides in and covers everything. Truth be told, probably only needs to be double layered, but it is kind of fun. It is kind of cool. So I do like that, but more importantly, I like the mechanics that go behind that. I do think that is clever, and I do think that is fun. I also like and you're going to hear me talk about this later on, but I like the single wild resource that you have. It can be anything until you've placed it, and I think that does work rather well, along with the way that you have the very hard and fast limits of what you can place in different areas. I do think that works particularly well, the way that you're able to you get stuff and you kind of place it out pretty much wherever you want. Of course, some of the specific airdrop cards might do something different, but for the most part, you kind of put things wherever it is that you want to put them, and you kind of have that freedom with your resources. I do think that is particularly fun, having that great freedom of kind of choice of what is it you're doing. Along with that, I like the simultaneous play. It's pretty much you kind of do your stuff, and then you only have to come all back together when it's time to kind of draft your cards for the airdrop. I think that also works particularly well. I like that. And the last thing that I'll highlight is I like the idea of the event cards. I think sometimes it'll be something that's kind of nice, kind of helps you, but often it's going to be something that's really going to impact you in your city. So you kind of have to prepare, or maybe you don't prepare and you're just pushing your luck that the thing that comes out is not going to affect that particular place, because it is not hugely punishing, but it is decently punishing when you can't pay a cost somewhere. And so it really gives you a little bit of that kind of push your luck vibe that goes along, that goes with that. And in the same vein, I like the way that you're choosing when to send your VNOTs up to the space station in order to kind of innovate. But if you send them up there, they're going to be up there, they're not coming back, and now you've lost that resource to do other things. I think all of that does work really, really well. So what are my quibbles with this game? So the first thing is, and I already mentioned it as a bonus, it's fun having the wild resource. It can be anything, but also you, in theory, have 5 or whatever different resources, but really you only have 1. And it's just really easy to get VNaughts. It's exceedingly easy. I think there was one time early in a game that I was a little bit strapped, but beyond that, I was never strapped again. It's just exceedingly easy to do that, at least if events don't go against you. And so, because it's so easy, it doesn't make it feel like the choices are particularly meaningful. Next thing I'll say is, I feel like there needs to be more variety in the airdrop cards, and by that I mean the changes that they make to the different areas that you're putting things. Like right now, when you go and you upgrade your mining spot, there's 3 different powers that you might have there that might do something. That is cool. That's it. There's one thing that can be in the shield zone. That's it. I wish all of the different areas had different powers. So now I'm really making a decision. It's not just, oh, this one will get me a point, or this one gets me 2 points, so I should really place the old one, or this one can hold more things. Make that decision for me of, I want to replace a card I already have, or get this card instead of this card. This other card will get me more points, but this one has a really cool power. It's early in the game. I can use that for a long time. So I just want more variety in that, all across the board. And I think the way to do that, is simply with those cards, the airdrops, if there's more variety there, which went along with more different powers and stuff that you get for each of the different zones, I think that would actually kind of clean that up and make that more interesting past a couple of games. And then the last thing I'll say is, it's an exceedingly simple game. It's exceedingly simple. Now that is not necessarily bad, so I call this section quibbles, but there's not meat on these bones. It's very, very simple. You're doing some drafting and you're going to see who can get the most points in the end. And I do find that there's not a huge variety in in-game scoring. It is always going to come down to 1 or 2 different things. So you might get 40 points or whatever it is, but everyone's going to get at least 30 points. And that's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. And we all had a fun time playing it, but it does lack some, but it is a simple game. And if you're someone looking for a lot of meat, a lot of heft, this is not it. This is the lightest of light games, which again is not necessarily a bad thing, but just something that you should understand. So there you have it, folks. That is Cities of Venus. Overall, I'm optimistic about this game. I think the core mechanics and the core ideas and the core things going on are fun. And I love the simplicity of it in many ways. And I think that depending on how the game is developed, depending on what things they add during the Kickstarter, what kind of stretch goals, new abilities, new cards they unlocked, that really is going to take this game from being one that, yeah, sure, I'll play that, that's fun, to one that, ooh, I want to play that. Because I think it's right there with a great, easy possibility to be a super awesome game with just a little bit more development, a little bit more variety that gets stuck into it. And the good thing is this is a Kickstarter, so they have that opportunity. And this is one that I'm absolutely 100% going to go back and check out and say, okay, what are they doing with this? Where are they going with this? Because the core of this game is very cool and it's fun. So there you have it, folks. That is Cities of Venus. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview, please let me know in the comments with the timestamps so I can get that into the Klingon subtitles. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe join. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.